All righty. Well, I am pleased to announce our speaker for the month, Gary Hoogeveen. Gary is the president and CEO of Rocky Mountain Power. He is currently responsible for the company's transmission and distribution operations, customer service, regulatory, and legislative affairs in Idaho, Utah, and Wyoming. Hoogeveen is additionally responsible for Pacific Corp's coal fueling and mining operations, as well as their thermal generation operation. Prior to his current position, Gary served as the Senior Vice President and Chief Commercial Officer of Rocky Mountain Power and the President and Chief Executive Officer of Kern River Gas Transmission Company for 4 years. He joined Kern River after serving as Vice President of Customer Service and Business Development for Berkshire Hathaway Energy subsidiary of Northern Natural Gas Company. Prior to joining Northern Natural Gas, he held various management positions at Berkshire Hathaway Energy. Hoogeveen currently serves on the Salt Lake City Chamber of Commerce Board of Governors, the EDC Utah Board of Advisors, the Envision Utah Board of Directors, and the Utah Sports Commission Board of Trustees. Thanks for being here. It's quite the honor for him to be here. He has got some exciting news to talk with us today about, and we're looking forward to hearing it.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here today. Can you hear me okay in the back? Everybody? Okay, terrific. Thank you. As you can see, let's go to my slide presentation if we could. I'm here to talk to you today about Wyoming's energy future. That's a little daunting task, and you should all beware the person that comes before you and says they can tell you the future. I'm going to tell you our version of what we see in the future. Okay, so it's not exactly guaranteed to happen for sure, but I've got a background in physics, so bear with me for a second as I perhaps spin a bit of an analogy. Quantum physics tells us that the future can be determined by a mathematical equation. It's called the probability function. So what I'm going to do today, or attempt to do today, is talk to you about that probability. And in this function, in this mathematical function, is a bunch of variables. Now I'll stop talking about math and physics because it will get extremely boring and tedious, I think. But really these variables are simply the issues and the decisions in front of all of us together on how we want to walk into the future and introduce the future, and specifically Wyoming's energy future. So beware what someone tells you they're saying about the future, but I think listen to someone who has some insight into those issues. And that's who I am. I'm someone who has hopefully some insight, and this isn't necessarily working, Elizabeth. I'll just have you go advance that, please. Thank you. So who am I to tell you about some of these issues? Well, I represent an organization that is the largest electric utility in Wyoming, Rocky Mountain Power. You see here a list of our assets. We serve just short of 142,000 customers in Wyoming. We have just over 1,000 employees in Wyoming at these various different sites. You see, obviously, we have 4 coal plants that we're proud to operate here in the state. We have a lot of other assets, wind assets, poles and wires, et cetera. It's a big operation. As part of Rocky Mountain Power, we serve Wyoming, Utah, and Idaho. Part of Pacific Corp, there are 2 operating utilities, Rocky Mountain Power and Pacific Power. Pacific Power is headquartered in Portland, and they serve Oregon, Washington, and Northern California. So together, we're a very large utility. And I will tell you that we concentrate more of our assets per capita in Wyoming than any other state. And that is one of the first variables that I want to really dwell on. And that is that Wyoming has been the past. I'm talking about the future, but you got to always remember the past. The existence, the current state for Wyoming is an energy leader. It's an energy leader. It's also an energy exporter and an electricity exporter. The electricity that is manufactured, if you will, or generated here at these facilities, more than 80% of that goes outside the state. Wyoming has historically been a very strong energy exporter. So that's one of these variables we have to think about. In the past, Wyoming has been an energy leader and an energy exporter. Do we want that to happen in the future for Wyoming? And I would argue that the answer is probably yes. So that's who we are. What do? We serve our customers, and we certainly serve our customers here in Wyoming. These are terrific snapshots of some of the communities and some of the employees that we have here in Wyoming. I'm about to introduce a video. I'll let you watch it here in a second, but please think, as you watch it, think about maybe this next issue or variable, and that is what Wyoming's role is in the West, the interconnected West, as I think you're about to see. So that's that next variable. What role does Wyoming want to play in the future in this interconnected West? Let's watch the video, please.
This is powerful country. That's something you feel wherever you go in the West. From the sun-soaked basins to the wind-swept plains, from the jagged mountains of Wyoming, all the way to the Pacific Ocean. It's a power that exists because of the diversity of the land and the people that call this place home. That diversity is also what propels us forward, making Pacific Corp the largest regulated utility owner of wind power in the West. It's why our solar energy production has increased every year. And it's why we're taking another huge leap forward as we continue to modernize our grid and invest in the communities we serve. It's all part of a strategy for the future that is already delivering significant results. We're well on our way to substantially reducing emissions. We're greatly increasing our renewable capacity. All while simultaneously delivering cost savings to our customers. Now, we're expanding our transmission capacity and accelerating our work on a truly integrated energy system that connects the best resources the West has to offer and delivers this energy right to our customers' doors. Each Western community has a power all its own, but the connected West is much greater than the sum of its parts. It is the key to an energy system that delivers affordability and reliability while rapidly reducing greenhouse gas emissions. By connecting the Greater West, we're connecting all our communities to an even greater future.
I just love that video. Every time I see it, I kind of get chills. The point here is that the state of Wyoming is the engine, the generation to power the West. And that's pretty exciting. It has been in the past, to be honest. If you look at some of the assets that I had shown in that first map, Jim Bridger power plant was built to serve the state of Oregon, customers in the state of Oregon. It was originally called a coal by wire power plant. And that wire that connects the power plants is incredibly important. And I'm going to come back to that. I think if you would look at this statement as a vision for Wyoming's energy future, I think it's very helpful. I'm going to read it for you. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on it and unpack it a bit because I think it's incredibly important when we talk about the future for this state. So let me read it. We must connect and optimize our diverse resources across the West with a strengthened and modernized transmission network that ensures resilient service, reduces cost, and creates maximum opportunities for our communities to thrive. That is a powerful statement, and there are a lot of concepts and a lot of issues and variables, if you will, embedded. And I would like to just unpack a little bit. And then the rest of my talk, I'm going to talk about how we're going to accomplish this energy future. First of all, it's we. It's not me. It's not Gary Hoogeveen. It's not Rocky Mountain Power. It's not Pacific Corp. It's not even Berkshire Hathaway Energy. Okay. It is we, the state of Wyoming, in concert with the other 5 states that we operate in, Utah, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, and California, but it's also the entire rest of the West. As you saw there, really briefly, I wish I could pause it and really dwell on some of those facts and figures in the pictures. But that picture of the West, where all the little lines were connecting and blades were turning and strange little icons were flashing, that is this future we're talking about. It is an interconnected West future, but the source and the power really comes from this great state in the future, as it did in the past, which I think is compelling. So it's all of us. We must connect and optimize our diverse resources. I am a big fan of Governor Gordon's all the above energy strategy. Couldn't agree with it more. We operate coal plants. I showed you, we will continue to do that. Yes, we will retire them. And I'll talk about that here in a minute, but we will replace them with new nuclear plant. We just announced in Kemmer and extremely excited about that. I'll talk more about that. We are building more and more wind. As the video showed, we're the largest rate regulated utility owner in the West of wind. We're going to build more solar. We're going to build storage, including batteries, pump storage, hydro, and we'll continue to operate coal into the future. We'll build and operate new natural gas powered plants as well. There is a diversity of resources throughout our system, but particularly here in Wyoming. We're going to connect and optimize our diverse resources across the West with a strengthened and modernized transmission network. Transmission network, maybe by no accident, is in the middle of this statement. It connects the resources, the diverse resources with resilient service, reduced costs, et cetera. We cannot accomplish this future, which I hope you agree is a very compelling and exciting future for this state of Wyoming, without building transmission. And I will talk about where we are in that process, because we have a proposal and an application in front of the Public Service Commission right now that we are trying to effectuate this next step in the future of Wyoming. So it's exciting times. Transmission network that ensures resilient service, not just reliable, but resilient. We're investing money in this new poles and wires that we have in order to operate it more effectively. If something should happen to it, if the wind blows and they knock together, they short out, a tree falls on it, we have the ability. We want to be more able to remotely clear the line and reestablish power to you more quickly and more resiliently. Reduce costs. We can't and don't want to do this by charging you more money. That's worth saying again, because many of our fellow utilities out there have surrendered to what they think is an inevitability of raising rates. We don't agree with that. Our rates today are roughly equivalent to what they were 5 years ago. And that is also very hard to do and uncommon in the utility industry out there. We continue that commitment. We want to keep our rates very low. We're not going to do this transformation, this walking into the energy future by charging you more money. They have in other states, California. They chose to do that. That was a public policy, and I give a lot of credit to the legislature and the governor here and the Public Service Commission that has required us, and along with our intent, to keep rates low. Reduce costs creates maximum opportunities for our communities to thrive. Last, but absolutely not least, we cannot forget about the communities that we have lived and worked in, have generated very low cost electricity in for decades. Namely our 4 coal facilities in those communities. And we're not forgetting them, and we're not leaving them behind, as demonstrated by our commitment to the town of Kemmer and our employees at the Naughton Power Plant, where we are building a new nuclear power plant. So I think this is very compelling. I think it's packed with meaning, and it really is the vision of the energy future. Next slide, please. So now I want to just talk for a few remaining minutes about how we're doing it, how we're going to accomplish this energy future in Wyoming. And this first step is incredibly important. It's the middle of that energy vision statement. Without it, it falls apart. And this vision of the future with all these probability functions starts to fade and dissolve and go away if we don't accomplish this. And what is this? This is building new transmission. The video, you saw all the flashing lights and the connecting lines. Those connecting lines are these transmission lines. They are good and they are strong and they are well built for what we've had in the past. But to accomplish what we need to accomplish in the future, we need to build new lines. And so we have an application in front of the Public Service Commission right now that we are working on and working through and hoping to get permission later this winter for what is essentially what we call Gateway West and Gateway South. It is 120 miles of new and rebuilt transmission lines. That's Gateway West piece that you see there in the lower part of the map. It enables 1,800 megawatts of new wind. So not only the wind that we built in 2020, which is about the same 1,800 megawatt size, 1,900 megawatts, we're going to basically double that. And we can't do it without building new transmission to it. We are going to build 416 miles of new transmission lines, 142 miles of which is in Wyoming. That's the Gateway South piece. So what you don't see is the rest of it goes through Colorado and into Utah, because again, we are interconnected. And 80% of the energy that is manufactured here in this state goes somewhere else. It doesn't go somewhere else unless we get the transmission lines built. So extremely important. And the linchpin to the future for Wyoming. Next slide, please. Talked about the diverse energy resources in the mission, our vision statement. I'm very excited to really, again, talk to you anytime I can about the TerraPower Advanced Nuclear Project in Kemmer. We announced our intent to pursue the project on June 2nd of last year. We announced in November that it would be in Kemmer. We're working very hard to accomplish it. And I'm very excited about it. The plan is for it to be live in 2028. You may think that's a long time away, and it kind of is, but in terms of getting a permit from the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, get it built, it's a one of a kind, that's really fast. And we're working very diligently alongside our partner TerraPower to accomplish it. We have announced that we're going to convert Jim Bridger 1 and 2 units. There are 4 coal units there. Let's see, 3 years ago now in 2019, we said we were going to retire units 1 and 2 early in 23 and 28. Well, we now changed that. We said we're, instead of retiring them, we're going to convert them to natural gas in 24, at the end of 23, essentially. That is very beneficial for all of our customers and for the employees there at Jim Bridger, because those units will stay operational. They will run. We don't think they're going to run very often, but that's not the point. The point is when we need them, they will be there. And if we had just retired them, we would have been relying on other resources. And with this conversion to natural gas fuel, we will have them if we need them, and we will, and we do believe we will need them. This third point is very important. We are serious, and we are pursuing a request for proposals to install carbon capture on a coal unit in Wyoming. It's also called CCUS. If you hear the lingo, carbon capture, utilization, and sequestration. It just means you kind of capture the carbon that's emitted off the flue, off the smokestack fuel of the coal plant, and you were either going to utilize it somewhere, say for the example, in extracting oil called enhanced oil recovery, or you're going to bury it, sequester it underground somewhere in some geologic formation. We are very serious about pursuing this. This is something that we are really energy industry leaders in doing. There is one currently operating CCUS plant in North America, and it's not even in the United States. There was one in the United States, but it didn't work. It worked, but it was uneconomic. And in business, if it's uneconomic, it doesn't work. The one that works right now is in, it's called Boundary Dam, and it's in Canada, just across the border of North Dakota. We are going to build the next one, and we do believe it will make sense. There's new technology. We have been working with industry partners, some of which might be represented here, and we will be going forward. And this is something that we're extremely excited about, both for our customers, again, our employees, because it means the extension of one of these power plants, these coal plants that would otherwise not be continuing to run. And, you know, it should mean very low cost electricity for our customers. I'm excited about that opportunity, but again, it doesn't happen if we don't build this transmission line, that piece in the middle of that energy vision statement. So I think you can understand, again, the excitement we have for all of these things, but it goes away if we can't, you know, actually build this transmission. I think you may be picking up on my primary point here today, which is we need to build transmission. That is the backbone of this energy future that we are also excited about. battery hydro pumped storage. If you don't know what pumped hydro storage is, it's pretty stinking cool. It is, you're storing electricity in gravitational potential energy. For those of you that like physics, what you're doing is you're pumping from a lower reservoir of water to an upper reservoir of water, separated by a mountain, let's say, right? Higher elevation, more gravitational potential energy there. So you, when costs, electricity is cheap, you pump it up and then store it in that upper reservoir. And when then prices are very high, you want to generate electricity, you open up the valve, run it down through by gravity through the generator, and you make electricity. Pretty cool. And it actually works, and it's economic. And there are opportunities here in the state of Wyoming to do it. It's pretty cool stuff. And in the meantime, we're going to build some batteries, because batteries are valuable for their purpose, which is to slide production a few hours. Pumped hydro is a few days worth of storage. Pumped batteries are a few hours. So you usually couple them with, you build solar, and you move the solar peak from noon, 1 o'clock to the later that afternoon, where everybody uses it and they come home, turn the air conditioners up in the summer. That's the use of batteries, a few hours and very valuable. So we'll be building those. That's the diversity of the resources that we have access to. Next slide, please. Last but not least is this commitment to workforce and communities. As demonstrated in Kemmer, and we had essentially an opportunity for TerraPower to go to all 4 communities where our coal facilities are and choose which is the community and the power plant that they wanted to site this new nuclear plant at, and they chose Kemmer. And that's great for Kemmer and great for the Naughton Power Plant, because it was going to retire in 2025. It was the first one up. But there are others like Dave Johnston, which is scheduled to retire in 2027. And Jim Bridger, as I told you, the first 2 units are going to go to natural gas. The second 2 units, 3 and 4, are essentially scheduled to run through mid 2030s. So they've got a long life yet. Wyandotte also has a long life in Gillette. So, we've demonstrated our commitment with this first one that was up, and that community is going to be the center of the energy world for the next 5-6 years. It is going to be remarkable. And, we're working with them to be able to accommodate all the people that are going to be coming in, all the new businesses. It will be remarkable, and it will be difficult, but I think it's a good problem to have for Kemmer, and they're certainly excited about it. Glenrock and Dave Johnson are next in 2027. They could be the site for a carbon capture and utilization sequestration project, that CCUS project I was talking about. That would seem to fit nicely. We'll let the process roll out here. We'll know more later this year, but that's a possibility there. And again, an extension of the life for the community and for the employees, and a great future for them, certainly, but also our customers. In general, we are here to help our customers. And again, we are, help those communities, customers as well, but the communities and the employees. And we have the opportunity either retirements. Obviously, that's a nice outcome for our employees, but we will retrain them. We have offered them relocation services to work elsewhere. It's all well and good for the employees, but the communities themselves need help. And we've helped them, Kemmer, for example, we helped them write grants and give them money to write grants. And they have a $270,000 grant for economic development that they won with all that. So we're very committed to helping these communities move forward. Last slide, please. So this is my vision, our vision of the future for Wyoming. I hope you share our excitement in it, because I think it's a pretty cool vision and it's a pretty cool future. It is different than Wyoming's past, but in real ways, it's the same. And I think in very powerful and meaningful ways, if we accomplish this vision, Wyoming will continue to be a leader in very different ways, in going through all this new generation, the diversity, the new nuclear power plant, the pumped storage hydro. These are very innovative things. The new wind, the new solar, the batteries, all of it. Also, we need transmission. I think I told you that. With all that, which I might have left as a lasting image here for you. If we accomplish this, I think Wyoming will be in a terrific place, much like it has been in the past. It will be different. The reliance on coal will come down. The royalties from coal will come down inevitably. And that's an issue that I think we can all solve together. We work together and we accomplish this vision statement that I put in here. I really look forward to working with all of you, the business community, legislators, the governor, the Public Service Commission. We've all got a lot to do, but I think pretty darn exciting.